We got to do it here. It's never fun, but we got to do it. Twitter is a beautiful place. I love Twitter. Twitter is hilarious, but Twitter is also full of Twitter quarterbacks. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's people that, whether they have a blue check mark or not next to their name, like to sort of spout off takes about things that are X's and O's related in college football, and they like to break them down without having too much of an authority on those topics or having ever really played the game. And one most recent example we got of that was Hendon Hooker getting ready for the draft, and you have a lot of people going to the Twitter fingers. Keyboard's hot. Twitter fingers are dancing, saying, yeah, but he played in a quarterback-friendly offense. And that was kind of the voice that I would read those tweets in. Yeah, quarterback-friendly offense, that's not going to translate. And it was not enormously incorrect in saying it's a quarterback-friendly offense, but the shade that was being thrown, talking about translating to the NFL and essentially trying to discredit guys like Hendon Hooker and trying to discredit what Joe Milton or Nico Iamaleava could be getting done in 2023. So we just had to address it right here. Let's break down the offense just a little bit. Quarterback-friendly, not an untrue statement. It is a quarterback-friendly offense because when you watch Tennessee on tape or you watch their broadcasts, they play with a lot of spacing. And spacing essentially can be summed up in when you watch where their wide receivers align on the screen. They are very much so spread out, and it's not uncommon to see the wide receivers lining up darn near on the sideline. Like they're trying to make the defense cover every single blade of grass. You get 53.3 yards of width to work with. Josh Heupel says, cool, we're going to take advantage of all of them. Now, why is that quarterback friendly? Well, it gives the wide receivers more real estate to work with. Again, the DB has to cover more space. In addition to that, more space means what? More room to get open and more space to throw the football. So if you're an NFL scout watching these guys get open, saying he's not fitting that in the window, yeah, because Jalen Hyatt's super freaking fast and Buddy playing corner or Buddy playing slot corner or safety, whatever you want to call it, you just can't stick with him. So when that happens, it makes for nice throws and explosive plays and touchdowns. So the spacing piece of this is one of the reasons why people like to throw the term quarterback friendly around Tennessee's offense. The other piece of this is probably the more well-known part of what Tennessee does. They go fast. Up-tempo, no huddle, hurry up, whatever kind of label you want to throw on it. They're snapping the football right around every 20 seconds. So what does that do to a defense? Why is that quarterback friendly? A couple of things. One, the defense gets tired. It is hard to be in position when you are tired. It is hard to have all of your competitive juices at maximum level and all your attributes maxed out when you're huffing and puffing because Tennessee's running a whole heck of a lot of plays. The other thing that does to a defense, it is hard to be organized when the offense is going so quickly. You know what I'm saying? You wake up late, the alarm was supposed to go off 10 minutes ago and it didn't, and you're rushing around and you forgot your keys. Why? Because you're not organized. It's hard to think clearly when things are happening so quickly. Another advantage for the offense. This is perhaps the most unsaid piece of this when it comes to Tennessee going so quickly. As a defense, man, you're stuck. What I mean by you're stuck, I mean you're stuck in that personnel grouping until you either call timeout or Tennessee decides to substitute. So for Tennessee, if we run a play that we like and we see that you have too many big dudes on the field, maybe you have an extra backer in there or extra defensive lineman in there to try to stop the run. Well, guess what happens? We go up-tempo, and that big boy has to stay on the field. And then we can call some more vertical plays because you have less players to defend what we like. Okay, so again, you're either getting just absolutely exhausted or you have to call timeout because you're prisoner to what Tennessee wants to do offensively at that point in time, the beautiful part of the up-tempo offense. Okay, so all of these make for better execution for the offense. Really quickly, though, shout out to everybody watching live. Make sure you subscribe to the On3 YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, at JD Piquel. Tennessee fans, we love y'all and appreciate y'all for that. So as I was saying, all of these elements make for a higher percentage of execution for the quarterback, but also here's why they say quarterback friendly for the up-tempo piece. It makes for an easier picture because you don't get the luxury of disguising blitzes and trying to misalign guys and trying to be tricky with your defense when we're going so quickly. So as a quarterback, when you can't be tricky with your defense, I can just process what I see. I can kind of take it at face value. It's an easier picture for me to read pre-snap. I don't have to worry about that corner blitzing more likely than not because you don't have time to get that signal in, or you don't have that check necessarily built in when we're going up tempo. Just not a good way to live. You can do it, but it's a little bit risky. And again, easier picture for us to diagnose as the offense. Now, Tennessee also, for all of the branding around them being potent and up-tempo and air it out and all the stats that Hendon Hooker put together, and Jalen Hyatt, I think, just scored another touchdown in Knoxville against Alabama, they run the football. That's what Tennessee does, man. They're a run-first operation. They ran the ball 55% of the time last year. They want to pound the rock. That's the other thing that comes into Tennessee being a quarterback-friendly offense. When you run the football effectively, then the defense has to commit more resources. Tennessee fans are not going to like hearing this, but that's why Georgia was able to beat Tennessee. Because Georgia was able to, one, just play more honest in the trenches. They didn't have to commit extra resources. They were able to win the line of scrimmage. And then on the back end, they had guys that could have a better percentage chance of hanging with those receivers at Tennessee. So what I'm trying to tell you is, as a quarterback, if we're running the ball well, those safeties and those other defenders on the back end, then they have to start deciding, okay, do we want to play the pass or play the run? The DC is probably saying, listen, if we lose, it's not going to be because they ran for 300 yards on us. You better go help in that run game. So the safety says, all right, I'll go help them out, coach. And then Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker or whoever's back there starts rubbing their hands together and saying, all right, you want to come play in the box, that's fine, but look behind you. A lot of green grass. A lot of green grass for my guys to go and make some plays for. So running the football also factors into Tennessee being a quarterback-friendly system, okay? So spacing, pace, they pound the rock. All three things that make for quarterback-friendly. The NFL shade comes from, well, listen, in the NFL game, the hashes are different, right? Hashes are closer together. So when you line up on the right or the left hash, it's essentially the middle of the field. And so NFL scouts or NFL commentators, rather, are saying it's not going to translate because that offense doesn't work in the NFL. You don't get plays like that in the NFL. Okay, I hear you. I don't even think that's untrue. But what I would say is it doesn't mean that you still can't execute at the position. Like guys being open in this offense, that's great. It's what you would dial up if you're calling plays. I don't think you should penalize Tennessee quarterbacks because they play in an offense where guys get open. I also want to make sure that we're not docking these guys because I don't think this translates to any less ability from these quarterbacks. You still got to hit open receivers. You still have to get us in the right play. And I'll tell you what, when you're snapping the ball every 20 seconds, you better have your head on a swivel. You better be dialed into what we're doing offensively. You better be dialed into what the defense is doing because with how quickly we're going, the margin for error starts to shrink. So to insinuate that just because of the offense these guys are playing in, that they don't have the ability of some of these other guys, I just think it's untrue. So Twitter quarterbacks, the ball is now in your court to respond. Tennessee's offense is in fact quarterback friendly, but you should not think any less of these Tennessee quarterbacks for playing in it. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.